When you make more of everything else, you make less of Christ. Let's make more of Christ. Urban Family Talk.
I ran across a video from MSNBC where Andrea Mitchell was interviewing a reporter by the name of Kerry Sanders on the entire scenario that's going on in Venezuela. And they were discussing how it's been more difficult than many people expected for Maduro to be ousted. Maduro has been propped up by Russia, been propped up by Cuba. They have provided him boatloads of money. They flew a plane into Venezuela. The Russians flew a plane into Venezuela, loaded down with gold and cash. Just in the event he needed to make a quick get out, he would get out with all of this money. He's bolstered by Bolivia and all these other countries. Well, in this interview, Andrea Mitchell was interviewing Kerry Sanders about why it's been so difficult for the Maduro regime to be toppled. And I want you to listen to, some would describe this as a Freudian slip, because on MSNBC, they kind of have this allergy with the truth. But I guess a broken clock is right at least twice a day. Listen to this little nugget offered by MSNBC in the outflow of what's happening in Venezuela. It's clip number 1.
I think it has been surprising to a lot of people in Washington, in the administration at least, that this is taking longer than they thought, despite the sanctions, despite the pressure. With the help of Russia and other outside forces, Maduro is hanging on.
And not only hanging on, but he appears to still control the military. You have to understand, in Venezuela, gun ownership is not something that is open to everybody. So if the military have the guns, they have the power. And as long as Nicolas Maduro controls the military, he controls the country.
So that's why it's been so hard for him to be ousted. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, when Maduro originally came to power, and this is the same Maduro I would remind you that Bernie Sanders refused to refer to as a communist. Refused to refer to as a socialist. Bernie Sanders refused to say he's a socialist. Really, Bernie? And Bernie has refused to denounce him. Amazing. When Maduro came to power, initially, democratically, he was voted in. Democratic socialist. Where have I heard that before? Along with his ascendancy to power in Venezuela, it also coincided with massive gun control. Isn't that interesting? So while Maduro comes to power in Venezuela, he also just so happened, as a little coinky-dink, took the guns away from the citizenry. Then after he was elected democratically, he then decides, you know what? We're not going to have any more democratic elections. Bernie at least had to admit, yeah, this last election really wasn't democratic. And so how has Maduro been able to stay in power so long? Because the military are the only ones with guns. See, the Venezuelan people, they're protesting with rocks and bottles and Molotov cocktails, but they don't have the guns. Marty, they don't have the sparks. They can't, their resistance is limited to their philosophical and moral arguments. But Nicolas Maduro responds by saying, okay, y'all can talk that trash if you want, but I got the sparks. So the reason why he's still in power there, the socialist dictator who ascended to the presidency through democratic means, took the guns from the Venezuelan people, and now they can't get rid of them, though he's run the country into the ground. Again, we better wake up, because it's strangely coincidental that the socialists in America want to do the same thing. Well, guess what, folks? Take a page out of Venezuela's book. The socialists get power. They take your guns, then you never get rid of the socialists. Congratulations. Sounds eerily similar to prior socialist governments. I'm thinking, maybe the National Socialist German Workers' Party? Or how about the United Soviet Socialist Republic? Weren't they? Yeah, they also didn't like for their citizens to have guns, because they know if the people have guns, their power is jeopardized. But if the people don't have guns, you can say whatever you want, but we ain't going nowhere.
Challenging truth, godly wisdom, and spiritual empowerment. Urban Family Talk.